Hi, my name is Convocation Chick. I'm the principal at St. Columba's School. I've been there for about 10 years now. I inherited the school after long-standing leadership prior to my arrival. And what I found when I arrived was that there were lots of people who had their projects, their authority, those things that have become what they were known as in the parish, or the silos that Lencioni talks about. Father Kevin moved in a few years after I arrived as the principal, and we both made it our goal to have people change their concept of St. Columba rather than being St. Columba Parish that has a school across the parking lot, but rather that when people thought St. Columba Parish, they thought church and school. Now, we did a lot of things to try to make that happen. Leadership committees, leadership groups, changing groups, trying to get new ones, managing volunteers, all those kinds of things. But it really didn't begin to bear fruit until we started the Amazing Parish program and really engaged in the process. I've been asked today by Father Matthew Wharton to talk about how AP has had an effect on the school. And the number one way that it has had an effect on the school is by creating a positive relationship between the school principal and the pastor. I don't know how all pastors feel about schools, but in my experience, it can be a big headache. It's an extra thing. It's a large ministry. It's another budget. It's a bunch of employees, and sometimes, you just don't know what you're going to get as a principal. So through this AP process, like I said, it's really been about the relationship that's been built with the pastor. And it's from a few things from AP. And I've been asked to talk about what I think has had the most impact, and I would say it's the trust, it's sharing in the evangelization and discipleship, and it's establishing a level of accountability that's honest and equitable. So from our AP, the trust started in the intentional prayer process. I think we often do pray. We pray before every meeting. There's those things that we know we need to do. But that intentional prayer process, for me personally, was really impactful. It was a depth of prayer. I guess I'm a little embarrassed to admit I hadn't done in that way. And I hadn't had a connection with a parish priest where we could share that level of prayer and with such specificity. Also, trust was developed through being vulnerable, and my parish pastor, Father Kevin, being willing to be vulnerable, and that we all agreed we would share in cultivating conflict. We say that a lot. Now, that seems scary, but if you start with intentional prayer and you're sharing everything, you agree that vulnerability is something that's difficult and that you want to look for those areas of conflict to help each other grow. It has really, really paid off for us as a group. The second thing that really stands out for me is the idea of evangelization and discipleship. New evangelization, intentional discipleship, when you say that to a lot of people in our Catholic Church, brings up some nervousness. In our group, what we do each week, besides intentional prayers, we share those times throughout the week that we have either evangelized or shown ourselves to be intentional disciples on behalf of Christ. I find myself doing things I wouldn't have done before because of the prayer life I now share with my pastor. I look for opportunities during the week to share my faith and to not be fearful to evangelize and live the life of a disciple. Honestly, I did not do before Amazing Parish. And in that, we hold each other accountable in an honest and equitable way, but it's less about holding each other accountable. It starts to become about celebrating what you're doing, celebrating those opportunities that you've had with one another that you're able to take out to the community. Now, specifically, Father Matthew wants to know how this has affected the school. I have taken this process, this relationship that I now have with Father, that I am confident and trustful and vulnerable. I'm eager to have a level of conflict that's going to yield results. And I know we can hold both people accountable. It's incredibly empowering and liberating. And my level of confidence as a layperson leading a school of 110 families, 250 children, 20 plus employees, I feel like I know I have the support of the pastor. And if I don't have the support on anything, there's an avenue that we're going to come to the best conclusion for the largest ministry of our parish. I pray differently than I did before with the staff. We engage in intentional prayer. We're more vulnerable with one another. And in turn, what happens is our teachers take that evangelization and intentional discipleship out to the families of our school. It's become a cornerstone of everything that we do. People know that our pastor, Father Kevin, is the leader, and he leads by example. And the fruits of the Amazing Parish program has gone down through all ministries. And I'm just so thankful that it has been introduced, and that the diocese has brought it to the parish of St. Columba. And with all of us committed at St. Columba, and all of us being engaged and making sure we're all taking it to our ministries and supporting each other in similar ways, it has been remarkably fruitful. I could go on, all day about the conversions of our families, and how our ministry's been able to reach out. But just to summarize, this has affected our school ministry because I have a positive relationship with our priest, because I trust in our relationship. I know we share in evangelization and discipleship. We hold each other accountable, and that gives me the confidence to go do it in my ministry with the people that I lead.